Now, on a special edition of KGW News, how the federal government's immigration crackdown is having a ripple effect locally.
The fear went away for a little bit, but now it's even worse.
Plus, the reaction as an icon of Oregon's beer scene suddenly closes its doors after more than 30 years.
They've been really good to the Oregonians for, the most part.
And another sea of green at Providence Park, but not for the Portland Timbers.
It's electric!
It's electric and we're already feeling nostalgic.
The Portland State Vikings stormed the stadium for the first time in years. Thanks so much for joining us on this special edition of KGW News. I'm John Adams. Our top story takes us across the country to Charlotte, North Carolina. It's the latest focus of the federal government's immigration crackdown under the Trump administration. DHS has confirmed today that they are surging law enforcement there, quote, to ensure Americans are safe and public safety threats are removed. Local leaders preparing days in advance for the operation.
No one here is called in the National Guard. No one here is called in Border Patrol. We know how to take care of our city. We know how to protect our city, and we simply do not need them here.
Today, hundreds gathered in protest, bracing for more action as officials urge calm. And there's a growing impact locally to the Trump administration's escalated immigration enforcement. And a Aloha restaurant says business has dramatically dropped in the wake of increased immigration enforcement in recent months. Jay Coulter has that story.
The owner of Tapatio Mexican restaurant says they've been here in Aloha since 2002 and have always had steady business until about 2 months ago when the customers dried up.
I mean, it's been terrible for us. The sales dropped like half or even probably more.
Fabian Santana owns and operates Tapatio Mexican restaurant, which he says is a popular spot for the local Hispanic community.
A lot of guys from business like construction or landscapers, they come and have lunch with us here, and they watch the European leagues, like European soccer. But lately, they disappear. They are just afraid to come out.
Santana says since immigration enforcement has increased, people are hesitant to be out in the community, and some of his customers are seeing family members detained.
A couple days ago, there was a lady in the bar playing the poker machines, and she received a phone call, and she came out crying because her husband got caught and sent to a Tacoma, and she didn't know what to do.
Santana says he hasn't had to let any of his staff go, but with business drying up, he doesn't know how much longer he can sustain.
I'm afraid. Because, I mean, as a business owner, if the sales cut by half before long, you're not going to be able to run the place. And like I can do certain things as a business administrator, like cut hours on employees, but I know they come to work because they need to. So far, I haven't cut any hours because I'll be affecting them too.
And he says it's not just Tapatio, but other restaurants, particularly Mexican restaurants, are also seeing less business.
Just a few days back, I went to get my groceries from Restaurant Depot, and one of the employees asked me, "Hey, how's business?" And I look at the person, and she goes, "Same as everybody else?" And I said, "Exactly." And I asked them, "Have you noticed the impact?" They said, "Oh yeah, it's been terrible." So we're all in the same boat.
Santana adds he has not seen any immigration agents near his business. Jay Coulter, KGW News.
Well, the Trump administration plans to appeal a federal judge's ruling that blocks National Guard troops from deploying to Portland. The feds formally filed notice yesterday following Judge Karen Immergit's decision last week, calling the president's plan unlawful. The state of Oregon has until March to file its brief to the Ninth Circuit. For now, members of the National Guard are still in training and waiting, at least for another week, at military sites in Clackamas and Clatsop counties. All right, turning now to weather and taking a live look outside over the Rose City. We started off our Saturday with a dry start to the weekend, even though there were a couple pockets of sprinkles here and there throughout the day. But tomorrow is the day to get things done earlier instead of later. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri has a look at what our Sunday is going to look like. Hey, Joe.
Hey there, John. Good evening to you. We're going to be looking at dry weather for the most part to start things off. Then I'd say by 10:30 to noon, that's that window where we'll start to see some of the rain move in, and we'll be seeing some wet conditions heading into the afternoon. Live look downtown Portland, looking at temperatures in the low 50s. We saw another mild November afternoon with temperatures in the low 60s, upper 50s, low 60s, a handful of degrees above where we should be. In fact, a few locations came close to seeing temperatures about 10 degrees above average for this time of year. 57 in Astoria. Tillamook, you topped out at 59. So overnight will be mostly cloudy and dry. There is a little bit of a low off the California coast that's going to be producing more cloud cover and some of the rain showers by tomorrow afternoon. Sunday, again, starts dry, but the rain picks up in the afternoon. Looking ahead, it's what you would expect basically for November. We're going to be seeing some sunshine, some scattered showers, and also some dry weather. This is that little low that's moving up Northern California. We'll start to bring in those increasing clouds here later on tonight and into tomorrow. But again, rainfall amounts, John, should be right around 1/10, maybe 2/10 of an inch of rain. And those showers carry over in the early part of next week. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
All right, Joe, we'll see you soon. Thank you. New tonight out of Marion County, an hours-long standoff ends as SWAT officers were called in to help end the standoff. The sheriff's office says 40-year-old Darren Lake had multiple warrants for his arrest, but when police tried to arrest him, he locked himself in a home on 2nd Street in Scotts Mill. SWAT officers entered the home and used a K-9 officer after negotiations failed. After being treated, Lake is now booked into the county jail on multiple charges. A significant blow to Oregon's craft beer empire. After 30 years in business, Rogue Ales and Spirits suddenly ended operations on Friday, closing its brewery in Newport and brew pubs across the state. The Port of Newport, which leased property to Rogue, says the company had been in financial trouble for about a year and owed them more than $500,000. Catherine Cook takes a look.
On what should have been a busy Friday night, security gates at this Rogue brewery in southeast Portland signaled the end of an era in Oregon's brewing legacy. Multiple sources tell KGW Rogue Ales and Spirits has abruptly shuttered all operations.
That's sad because the brewery's been around forever, and as an Oregonian, it's kind of an institution for Oregonians.
Oh, everybody's shocked. Rogue has been in the area for, I believe, 37 years.
Paula Miranda is executive director at Port of Newport, where Rogue leased property for its headquarters. She says over the last year, Rogue had fallen more than $500,000 behind on rent and taxes. Miranda says Rogue's president asked to meet with her on Friday and told her Rogue was shutting down.
It was hard to hear because I was truly hoping that we would come to some plans that would help them continue being successful.
With Rogue's Newport closure, Miranda says 60 people will lose their jobs. 3 will stay on the payroll to properly close the 47,000 square foot brewery. Newport Mayor Jan Kaplan called Rogue an incredible partner and iconic.
A wonderful and humanity-minded business that sponsored so many nonprofits and events that we will be sadly missing them.
Rogue Brewery was founded in 1988. Its most popular beer, the Dead Guy Ale, a staple in local bottle shops and around the country. At one point, Rogue grew into Oregon's second largest craft brewing operation while garnering a global following. But for so many Oregon breweries, the business landscape has changed abruptly.
We know they have been struggling since COVID. Sales of beer has gone down quite a bit, and it's been difficult times for a lot of people. So in a sense, it was not super surprising.
Back at the brewery, it's hard to talk about Rogue in the past tense.
They always have great seasonal stuff, or they did, I guess is the best way to say that.
37 years on tap, without a true last call. Catherine Cook, KGW News.
The Port of Newport says they're exploring legal options to make sure they're made whole. They expect to learn more next week regarding Rogue's plans. The Portland Expo Center has turned into a shopping wonderland. The 3-day Portland Holiday Market kicked off on Friday, bringing together hundreds of vendors selling festive decor, baked goods, and clothing, just to name a few. Organizers say on the average, the market draws about 15,000 attendees. That's why this year, organizers opened 2 hours earlier on Friday to give people a little extra time to shop.
It just kind of creates that really fun buzz before the actual holiday, and it just kind of carries throughout these next few months. But it's also exciting just because you're finding things here that you're not finding at the shopping mall or in a regular shopping experience. You're finding more curated items, which is fun.
Well, the event, of course, is family friendly, so the kiddos can even snap a pic with Santa Claus while you're there. If you still want to stop by the holiday market, you still have one more day to do so. Tomorrow, the market is open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. On that note, check out this live view right now from our KGW toy box. We're asking for your help filling it up as part of KGW's Great Toy Drive. One easy way to give to local kids and teens, head to kgw.com and click Donate Cash, and we'll do the shopping for you. Or you can pick out a new unwrapped toy at a store of your choice and drop it off at any IQ, Credit Union, Fred Meyer, or local Toyota dealership. Thank you so much for your generosity. Well, coming up, a gradual reopening following the end of the federal government shutdown. How the national museums were affected by that. Plus, the Portland State Vikings are heading to Goose Hollow to show their school spirit. We visit Providence Park for their homecoming celebration. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene says she is now getting threats after a series of social media posts by the president calling her a traitor and a disgrace to the Republican Party. It's after she commented on how the president has been fighting to stop the release of the Epstein files despite never being accused of wrongdoing linked to him. Early next week, the House is expected to vote on whether to force the Justice Department to release more case files. A U.S. show of force in the Western Atlantic as tensions escalate with Venezuela. The military released these photos showing the Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier strike group in the Caribbean Sea. On Friday, President Trump suggested that a decision could come soon on whether to take military action against Venezuela, which he accused of having close ties to the illegal drug trade. And the president has rolled back tariffs on more than 200 food items, including coffee, cocoa, bananas, and certain beef products. The move comes as prices have gone up at grocery stores. Some distributors of beef, coffee, and other food items raised their prices earlier this year when the tariffs took effect. Well, many national museums opened their doors to visitors on Saturday following the reopening of the federal government. All federal facilities were closed during the nation's longest shutdown on record, and it may take several days for everything to return to normal. Jen Sullivan explains.
Many national museums are now back open after shutting their doors for more than 40 days during the government shutdown.
We've greeted over 1,000 people already.
The Smithsonian's National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. began welcoming visitors Friday. The Smithsonian Institution includes 19 museums and the National Zoo in D.C. All were forced to shut their doors when the federal government shut down October 1st, leaving many tourists frustrated.
It was a little disheartening to kind of just see the city be a little bit more of a ghost town, but, you know.
Smithsonian officials posted on X that they will reopen on a rolling basis, with all facilities open by Monday.
We've been here for 5 days, and so we were expected to see all the museums, but like I said, we booked over 2 months ago, so before the shutdown happened.
While national museums and federal agencies open back up, not everything is returning to normal right away. Saturday, the FAA gave the green light for more air traffic, but airlines are still being told they'll have to cancel 3% of their flights at 40 major airports across the country. Flight restrictions were reduced to 6% during the shutdown because there were not enough air traffic controllers to operate safely. The decision impacted thousands of flights a day.
I am happy that it'll get back to some kind of normalcy or just a little bit better before the holidays.
For the roughly 42 million people who rely on the federally funded Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program known as SNAP to help them afford groceries, most will have to wait until Monday to receive their full benefits. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Well, in your health news tonight, with the holidays approaching, doctors say that it's a good time to talk about a difficult topic. That is, talking with senior parents about things like giving up driving or moving into an assisted living facility. That's because it's often when relatives first notice those subtle signs in our aging loved ones that we haven't seen for a while, including struggles to manage everyday tasks or difficulty finding their way around town. Doctors say it's important to have these difficult conversations about health, safety, and future care early on with the whole family, and holiday visits can be a good opportunity to do that.
Use that time to have a larger family conversation, right? Of how are we going to be supporting each other? How are we going to be looking towards the future with our maybe parents as they're aging? What does aging in place look like? Is where they are now the right place for them?
Doctors say it's best to address driving, assisted care, and end-of-life issues before a crisis happens to help seniors feel more respected and supported. They say listen carefully and consider involving a family doctor in those talks. Well, time to talk about our weather. And, Joe, it really hasn't felt like we felt that biting cold yet this year.
We haven't.
We're in mid-November.
We may have seen a couple of mornings where temperatures were in the upper 30s, but so far, I could double check this for the 11 and get back to you, but I don't think we've seen any. I'm pretty much 100% sure that we haven't seen any freezing temperatures here in the metro area, and that's going to hold true over the next couple of days. Right now in downtown Portland, a temperature of 53 degrees. A couple weeks ago we saw that just an incredible amount of rain from that atmospheric river, and ever since it's been relatively mild. Case in point today, we saw temperatures in the low 60s earlier. Now we have this low out along the central California coast that's going to be going from south to north. So we're going to be seeing increasing clouds overnight. And with those increasing clouds, we'll also see some showers a little bit. And looking at the day planner, temperatures by 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow will be in the upper 40s. Slight chance for some light showers. And I can't get over, I don't think this camera is fixed. I feel like I look shorter than I am. But anyways, not that I'm short, but we need to get a better angle on that for the 11. Late morning, we'll be seeing those showers roll through, but that rain will pick up by the afternoon and evening hours with temperatures topping out in the mid-50s. Right now, clear skies over in Vancouver from the Springs at the waterfront there. Beautiful scene out there. If you're looking for a place to go for a nice Saturday, Friday night dinner, a little date night, check out that. It's a lot of fun to check out. Now, Futurecast, we'll put this into motion. We'll have overcast skies a good portion of the day tomorrow. This is just after 6. Again, picking up some light showers along the central Oregon coast. The showers will be a little heavier on the east side as that low moves in from California. And then by 12:30, 1 o'clock, we'll be seeing kind of a steady stream of some rain showers. Dry right around 4:35, and then another round of showers will be moving back into the picture as you get ready to wrap up the night. But again, you can kind of see that counterclockwise rotation as that front moves onshore. But you're not going to be, one of those days where you have to stay inside because of all the rain. The Oregon Zoo is popping, not because of the animals. I believe this is Brewfest. John, do you know, is this Brewfest tonight?
Good question.
I think it is. We're going to go with Brewfest. It is. I got confirmation from our director, Michael. It is Brewfest. Temperature right now of 51 degrees at the zoo. Always a good time out there, whether you're looking at the animals, doing Brewfest, or of course the zoo lights. Rainfall amounts were pretty much non-existent here in the metro area, just 3/100ths over in Salem. along the Oregon coast, we basically saw 2/10 to 1/4 of an inch of rain. So far for the month of November, we started things off about a week and a half ago, just an incredible amount of rain. The last couple of days were kind of dry. We're looking pretty good so far, but we'll start to add to that over the next few days. And the chance to see some rain throughout tomorrow and Monday, that's pretty much your wettest time, late tomorrow afternoon and into early Sunday. Or I should say Monday morning, and we'll be seeing another round of showers move back into the forecast heading into the middle part of the week, basically by Wednesday night and into Thursday. Temperatures were in the upper 50s, low 60s earlier this afternoon. Next 5 days will be right around where we should be in the low to the mid 50s. So tomorrow, daytime high of 55 degrees. Some showers throughout the early morning hours on Monday, John, and then we'll dry out. We dry out for Tuesday. Tuesday looks overcast and dry. Wednesday looks dry during the daylight hours, and late Wednesday night into Thursday, those showers will move back in.
Still not bad, though, because we're hanging out in the mid-50s a lot of those days.
Yeah, I know. You talked about it hasn't been cold down here in the valley. Well, I think people in the Oregon Cascades would like to see a little bit of some cold. They typically are, on average, are about open this time of year. Doesn't look like they're going to be opening anytime soon, at least not for another week or so.
All right, Joe, thank you. Well, check this out. It was a special celebration today at Providence Park. For the first time since 2018, the Portland State Vikings held their homecoming game here this afternoon. Before the match, a sea of green and white stormed the stadium as fans marched alongside students, staff, and alumni.
We're master students, yeah.
Winner last year of our grad program.
I'm at my old alma mater, Portland State, 2001 to 2003, so it is what it is. Stadium looks good, good beer, and I'm up in the box.
People showed up,
So true.
It's beautiful, it's like fit for all Portland sports activities.
Well, unfortunately, the Vikings weren't able to pull out the win today against a very good Montana Grizzlies team, but fans from both sides appear to enjoy the location of the game. Well, still to come, the Portland Thorns in the WNSL semifinals up against the Washington Spirit as they eye the championship game in D.C. Art Edwards is going to join us with the highlights coming up next.
Yes, please. Yes, since I'm only 2 feet tall. Good evening, everyone. You know, one of the youngest teams in the league battling through injuries, the Portland Thorns, they put together an improbable run. Just one way a win from a trip to the chip. To Washington, D.C., the NWSL semifinals, the Thorns visiting the Washington Spirit. And it was a long day for Portland. 27th minute, the Spirit on the counterattack. Just too much speed. Rosemond Kouassi goes coast to coast, and Gift Monday puts it away. That was enough to win it. Washington shuts out Portland 2-0. The final score of the Thorns season comes to an end. in the Final Four. Well, the nightmare season for the Oregon State Beavers football team paid a visit to the Southwest today. Oregon State visiting Tulsa, Oklahoma. A team, Tulsa, that had lost 5 in a row going into today, but that all changed. The Golden Hurricane, they put a beat down on the Beavers. In the fourth quarter, Tulsa already up 24-0 when A.J. Allen, he goes 31 yards to the house. That put the Golden Hurricane up 31-0. Now, Tulsa ran for 283 yards, 3 TDs. One bright spot, though, for Oregon State. True freshman Tristan Tia. He led 2 scoring drives for the Beavers in the fourth quarter, led the team with 141 yards passing. Final score, though, 31-14. Oregon State falls to 2-9. They are off next week before they close out the season against Washington State in Pullman on November 29th. On to high school soccer, the boys 5A championship, the 5-seed Corvallis facing defending champion LaSalle Prep. Scoreless in the second half. Lucas Hawkins keeping it that way. Great save right there. Falcons, though, on the attack. Under 5 minutes to go, the man of the match, River Nichols, he calls game. Ring it up right there. That's the winner, 1-0 the final score. Got a smile for the camera. The LaSalle Falcons, they do it again, back-to-back state champions.
You know, it's great. I like to have a legacy here at LaSalle, and glad to put the 9th chip on there. It was more of like a blue-collar team, I would say. You know, we all had to work for each other. We didn't have to rely on anyone. We had to rely on each other, and I think that's really important. It kind of added another layer to our team.
There wasn't much expected of this group after losing so much last year, and these guys are so resilient. They get after it. They never quit, and they find a way. So couldn't be prouder of them.
All right, the girls' 5A championship belongs to the Bend Lava Bears. They beat North Eugene Triangle Lake 1-0 in the final. Bend finishes the season unbeaten. 4A scoreboard, the top 2 seeds of the girls' bracket, Marist Catholic and the Dallas Duford. They battle for the title. Marist Catholic wins it 2-0. On the boys' side, the State and Eagles, they go unbeaten in 2025. They beat North Marion 1-0 in the final match. Boys 3A top seed Catlin Gable against 3-seed Westside Christian. This was a battle. Second half, Nolan Swaim cleans up the mess in front of the goal, knocks it home for the score. That tied the match at 1. But with just 2.5 minutes left, Westside Christian comes through off the corner kick. Connor Olivier with the header into the top left corner. That's your match winner. Westside Christian wins it 2-1. First state title for the Eagles.
And I'm on top of the world right now. I still can't comprehend that we actually won. I mean, it's been a tough season to get here.
This team plays as a team. There's no one player. We've had one players in the past, but this team is all together, and boy, what a moment.
Well, congratulations to all the state title winners. All right, Joe, we got time for one quick last look at the 7-day.
Tomorrow morning, you guys are going to start off pretty dry. A slight chance to see some spotty showers. Those showers pick up by the late morning hours and into the afternoon. Rainfall amounts by the end of the day will be right around 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of rain. Rain carries over into Monday.
All right, we'll see you back here at 11.